spring holds it in place from bouncing around. So that's your hood latch. Obviously the door handles here, the key locks have been taken out, so there are no locks. Everything in here is still old school. Got green windows that work very well. Still has the old glass that's been cut. And usually you could tell if you've got old glass in here is because they put the glass on the outside and then they put, what do they call that stuff that they put in the middle? I can't remember.
Some kind of plastic?
Yeah, it's like that.
It's the shatterproof.
Yeah, the shatterproof stuff. Yeah, figures.
I know what you mean. I can't remember what it's called. If you can think of it, write it in the comments below.
Right. I'm sure there'll be a lot of them down there. But that's how you tell, is because you can see in here, it's still in the middle. And then it's on the old cars that have sit around in the sun a lot, they get bad. They start seeping in there, and then you get that flowery pattern in there where it turns yellow. So that's how you can see the old glass is going bad, because they start separating the stuff in the middle. Door handle still there. Obviously, dash has been redone. It's not the original dash, but we tried to get the original type gauges. The dash has actually been cut and pushed in a little bit more. You still have the glove compartment, which we got a modern stereo in here, and I've got this hooked in so we can hook in my cell phone for my music. We got a choke. Still got your headlights. And I've got your emergencies. And your key is on the right hand side, which a lot of them back in the day were on the left hand side. In reality, even more of them in 1950, they had a push button start. So you'd take the key, you put it in there, turn on the electronics, and then you would push the button either on the dash, or they had one on the floor where everybody uses those now for your brights. So a lot of your brights, you know, that's where the button is. But back in the day, going back and even into the 20s, that was your push button start. So modern cars today are like, ooh, I got a push button start. Well, they've been doing that way back in the 20s and 30s. That's nothing new. Chrysler even developed a push button transmission, so you could push which button you wanted the gear to go in, and it would actually go into that gear. I believe they were using a hydraulic type system for that. I'm not sure. I never messed with one of those, but a lot of people thought those were really cool. But that was in the 50s that Chrysler had done that, where they had a push button gear selector. This steering wheel here and drive and the whole drive mechanism there is from a 60s Ford F100. Actually goes into a Ford F100 steering box. So that controls the front wheels. Obviously the original Ford went straight down into there, and you know, it would be in between your legs, and that's all been moved and sort of modernized. The gauges in here are actually from a Scout 800. They are 6 volt. Even though the rest of the car is 12 volt, they're under the dash. There is a voltage regulator to take it back down to 6 volt. So it's kind of neat that we got some 6 volt stuff in here. This has been the makeshift shifter for now. You know, obviously when you sit in it, your leg kind of covers it, so you're kind of shifting underneath your leg. But you can see there's only 3 speeds in here with reverse. So obviously the transmission is literally right under here because the whole body was sunk down. So a lot of these mechanisms in here for the gas pedal and the brake all had to be reconfigured in order to work. This little guy up here, a lot of people ask me about this. This is basically it's a prism. So what happens is when you come up, since I sit so low, my head's here, and you've only got about 8-10 inches of windshield, you can't see the stoplights. So they had these back in the 50s that you would mount these on your dash. This one's magnetic, and it flips the image of what you see up there, so you will see all your stoplights inside. So you know when it turns green, you don't have to wait for people to honk at you to tell you to go. You can actually see the lights go off. The cowl induction here actually blows in air into the cab of the car. That I had to rework, which I don't know if you can catch that.
Oh, yeah.
So this car, before, when I got it, I didn't actually build the car. Somebody else had built it, and I had gone through it and reconfigured it and got it running good. you know, that was just bolted down because the dash ends right there. So it gets very hot in here in the summertime. You got very small windows. You know, these little guys in here, you know, open up and they let a lot of good air in, but you don't get enough because the center of the cab is very small. You've got a transmission generating a lot of heat. You've got an engine right up in front of you generating a lot of heat. The car gets pretty warm. On an 80, 90 degree day, you're pretty well sweating your butt off in here, and it's not good. So by getting this mechanism back to work again that I had to find from another Ford, I was able to hook that back up. I leave it open, it catches all the coolant air, and it feels really good coming in. It helps cool off the cab because there is no air conditioning. I don't drive it in the winter time, but if I did was able to get it started on really cold days. Phone call. So on really cold days, if I was able to get it started, this thing would probably generate enough heat to keep me pretty warm on the inside by keeping all the windows shut. Because again, the engine and transmission generate a lot of heat. So if you let it warm up for 10-15 minutes, like a lot of people do anyway today, this thing would probably warm up the cab well enough where I don't need a heater. But I haven't tested it, and I don't really want to drive it in the snow. But it's a nice fun ride. I've added different things in here. I put a map light that I've taken out of another vehicle in order to see in case your dash lights go out. You know, or you just want to see in here, so it's kind of like a dome light since there isn't any. I've got speakers in the rear behind my head. So the sound system actually sounds really good because it's just blasting at the back of your head, so you know, can't really miss that. But yeah, these seats are out of an S10 Blazer. They fit perfectly in here. You just take the headrest off, and again, makes it capable and safe of driving on the road because you have seatbelts. I wouldn't want to be in an accident in this thing since it is so low and so small and most of the metal is gone. Who knows what it will do? But my guess is it'll probably be doing better than a smart car. This is basically a golf cart.